So hello and welcome to this second video. This is the second video following on from the setup guide that I did in the McLaren 720S here at Monza, and this is me doing more like a reaction video as to how the race went all throughout the race really. I did mention that I didn't speak a single word throughout the entire video. I was so focused on trying to do my best throughout the race. So you can see starting out the race I'm in P2, and it's probably one of those places, Monza, where P2 on the grid can have its benefits. You can get a nice run down behind first place driver. You can also, you're going to benefit from that toe. You've got the outside line going into turn 1. Which also gives you the inside line going into turn 2. So there are a number of benefits to being in P2, but yeah, out qualified by another driver just up in front there, Patrick. I've never come across Patrick before, but we were setting some good laps obviously during the qualifying session. So everyone out to get them tyres nice and warm. A very tricky one to try and get right really, the tyre pushers here at Monza. The front right tyre, as you can see just looking down at the tyre delta, is already very close to getting outside its range really into the 27s, and yet you've got the rear left tyre that's not even above 25 psi, so it's kind of really hard to get that balance or to get the pressures right on this kind of outlap. Obviously once you've run maybe 2 or 3 laps, the tyres start to get into a good window where they're all generating a good level of heat, because obviously you spend a lot of time during testing to try and work out all these things, and I guess that's the main reason behind doing a fairly decent amount of testing really. I don't know the amount of testing that other people do on the run up to these races, but I certainly spend a fair bit of time. I've probably spent 2 days on the run up to this race being happy with the car, running the car in a number of just online lobby races, seeing how it performs against other drivers in the same car really. I've got to be honest, it was a bit of a surprise coming to the lobby on the night. I did have a little bit of a word of warning on the run up to getting into the XCL servers. I didn't actually know that they'd started adding the BOP changes to the cars, something that might have come from 1.9. So the McLaren here running with 40 kilograms extra load in the car, just to try and bring it down to a similar comparison to the rest of the cars in the field. Some cars like the Porsche getting -6 kilograms, and I do think it's fair in certain circumstances, but I do think 40 kilograms is a heck of a lot of load. I'm sure it's not that far out, but in comparison to the other cars setting laps on the night, I do apologise, it's gone midnight here when I'm just doing this voiceover. But yeah, on the night, I don't think any other, maybe the Bentley was setting very similar lap times, as you can see in P3 just behind in the rearview mirror. So you've got a fairly mixed grid. It's not too bad, I don't think. Maybe 40 kilograms is fair enough. So on the run up then, getting the car ready into TC1, get a good launch. Tyres fairly in the windows. The rear tyres I wasn't particularly happy with, not even into the 26s. But really didn't want to overheat the front tyres. So here we go then. So away we go then, and already you can see coming up on the right hand side using that radar. Got number P3 driver. The Bentley's absolutely rocketed away. Porsche pulling alongside. You can really see just that 40 kilograms with like a sitting duck. Even P1's struggling. He's running wide, so he's taking maybe a tiny bit of damage just going over the curve there, just clipping that bollard. We've got the other Bentley possibly that's gone up front. Surely he needs to give that place back, having taken the escape road. Uvalining just in front as well. Another great driver, setting very similar lap times. Porsche just coming up the rear, just gives me a little bit of a tap on the rear end. Definitely looking at the delta there then, 16.7 seconds from that little tap on the rear end. That is definitely going to play into things later on in the race. Obviously coming into the pit stop, it should be like a 1 second pit stop, so already looking at 16 times longer in the pit than needed to be. A very frustrating minor accident, and I do start to contemplate coming into this corner here whether I could manage staying out, but there's so much oversteer at the rear of the car. I might be able to hang on to P4, but P4 is not really where I want to finish the race, so I really have got no choice here, and coming into the pit really is my only option. So heavy on the brakes then, coming into the pit, and followed by a whole plethora of other cars. See them all lining up in the rear view. A couple of guy just jumped there right into the garage, so he's going to be there a while. Always someone parked right in front of my pit box. Very hard to guide in, but not too bad lining up. A slight adjustment that's cost me a little bit of time. Another car, Melmsey, just coming in as well. So it feels like an absolute age sat in the box. We've got another car pulling out, Melmsey pulling out, who pulled in way after me. Rear Gamer pulling out. Literally 5 cars overtaken, so I've got to overtake at least 5 cars to win the race. Sabre as well, another good driver. So pit stop cleared, and Rear Gamer's pulled off to the right hand side. Not sure what he's suffered with. Stop and go penalty, so he knows he's not going to do anything really. That's the end of his race. 30 seconds. It's a very harsh penalty, a stop and go. You've got to come all the way through into the pits and sit in the pit box for 30 seconds in a 30-minute race. It's literally game over with that kind of penalty. Maybe it should just be like a drive-through penalty. And you can see GD Partick, another quality driver, picking up a drive-through penalty, so that's going to be the end of his race as well. It's very strange when you're obviously taking part in the race itself on the night. You don't actually see all these other things going off. You're so focused on setting your lap times. Obviously 26 minutes left. Just looking around the dashboard there just to see tyre pressures doing well. Maybe that rear tyres just a little bit under pressured. Sabre a little bit out of shape. Just trying to get a good run through Ascari. The McLaren really does handle Ascari like no other car really. But maybe with the recent move to 1.9.7, Sabre just pulling wide really, just allowing me up that inside, not really putting a fight up at all. So yeah, moving to 1.9.7, I have heard talk that the BMW is looking good again here at Monza, the M4, and obviously we've seen the Bentley doing well again, which is nice to see really. It's good to get that balance. Something I would definitely like to see as well. I do hate coming through the first corner and seeing the cones and all the polystyrene boards absolutely smashed to smithereens. It really does make me feel like we're driving in Forza when I see that. You seem to see it in every single online lobby, and I think in platforms like XCL there should be a harsh penalty for any reason anyone's going through there, unless it really is a good reason. You should be weaving through the bollards, in my opinion, but people just seem to fly through there, especially the younger guys trying to get in front on an outlap, and then you end up having to overtake them on the outlap. So coming back up behind fella Cac, just really forcing myself up the inside there. I'm sure I was looking at the lap times he was setting, and he was definitely going to slow me down. I needed to get past him really quickly. I think there's probably 3 seconds difference between our lap times. We'll see maybe as we come across the start-finish line here just what the difference is. So 149 and a 152. I think I do manage to set a 147.8 during the race. I think the fastest lap was very, very similar. We'll look over all that at the end of the race. But I did enjoy getting back to racing in the XCL servers, coming back to Series X. As much as I haven't played too much on the PC version, just doing the 2 videos with regards to the special events, it's nice to see the special events back on the Xbox version, but it is a real disappointment that it isn't actually saving any of the names at the minute. It doesn't even save any of the times that you post. So hopefully 1.9.8 remedies that. So tyre pressure is starting to look a little bit better, maybe a little over pressure at the front of the car. But I think I did set them a little bit higher at the front of the car so we could try and get a little bit more grip at the rear. Switching then from TC1 to TC5, something that I really do remember does catch me out on the odd occasion during the race. And as much as it does give you some benefits, the traction control coming off the corners, it can be scary when you forget you're on the wrong traction control. So finally into the 147s, someone else obviously setting an early fast lap as well, coming up on Yorkshire OAP. So 6 seconds up ahead, we've got Melmsey as well. So looking at the leaderboard down the left hand side there, I already know I need to overtake at least 2 cars that don't need to stop again in order to win this race. So all I can do from this point onwards really is just get my head down and try and make the best of a bad situation, having to take that long pit stop. I think I'd have pitted at the start of the race anyway, even if I hadn't taken that damage back in 4th or 5th position. I think I was in 4th place, and 3 cars to overtake, and losing all the downforce as you start to come behind other drivers. It would have made sense to have done an early pit stop and just try and run your own race. I think that really is the beauty of having the pit stop. Maybe even having 2 pit stops would make people second guess really what you can and can't do, because I think that would make things more awkward, having 2 pit stops, and it would take away that I guess the battles on circuit would add another element to the race. I do tend to practice pit stops quite a lot, especially on the run up to races. I generally I would just do a flying lap, see what kind of lap time is when I come through into the pits, do the pit stop, a 1 second stop, and then back out again, do another flying lap and come straight back into the pit, and I do probably about 10 of those in a row. Obviously you're practicing then your out lap on slightly colder tyres, practicing how much speed you can carry coming into the pit. Obviously you're getting that braking position lined up as you come into your pit box. There's a lot to practice, I think, when it comes to pit stops, and the amount of time that you can save, obviously nailing that position in your box and getting up on your jacks really quickly. They really are seconds, and if you imagine maybe 2 or 3 seconds saved in a stop, if you're lapping very similar to the other car that you're racing against, that could almost be 3 laps worth of time between you and another driver. It really is. There's a lot of time to be gained in doing a good pit stop. So it's definitely a part of your game if you're doing races, league races. It's something that you really should be practicing, your pit entry and pit exit. There are crucial seconds to be gained in doing so, I think. Probably something that's overlooked, people trying to get faster and faster lap times. There's so much time to be gained in the pit. So starting lap 6, 17 minutes to go. I was discussing with someone else about SA ratings the other day, and a number of drivers, I guess, taking a few hits over running some online races. It's not really something I worry about, the SA rating. As long as you've got over 70, most lobbies will accept you, and I think it's easier to build your SA rating again against the AI, or just not being a complete idiot on the circuit. Trying to race clean with other drivers, try starting at the back of the grid on a number of occasions and just start overtaking other drivers. Close racing, that's all you need to do really. You don't need to be winning races. In fact, being at the front of the pack and just winning races without any overtaking will not build your SA rating at all. You really need to start from the back of the grid and be running close with other drivers. I think even being overtaken by other drivers will build your SA rating as long as you're not having contact. It's just about racing close with other drivers and not causing incidents, not running off the circuit too often. So as you can see, they're consistently lapping faster than both drivers in front, so it just gives me confidence to keep on pushing. Another driver just coming out of the pit then. Let's just have a look who this other driver is. Looks like Sabre. Yeah, is Sabre, just looking down at the graphic on the left hand side. I did mention in my other video, I'm not actually running it during this race, I don't think. After watching the replay back from this race, I did notice, especially coming through this section of the circuit on the replay, I've got a frame rate monitor. I don't know how true to life it is, but just in the top left corner I've got it running at 120 hertz, so it's 120 frames per second, hopefully, at 1440p on a 4K monitor. Nice one there, Sabre, thank you very much. But yeah, running through that section, the frame rate was dropping down to about 85 frames, and so going into the menus like I mentioned on the previous video and changing the motion blur to disabled, coming back to the same replay, it just stayed solidly on 120 frames, so I've turned that off for now. And it's something that I did notice on the PC setting of the game. Obviously turning that off just boosted the frames per second as well, so definitely something to look at if you're noticing any sort of stuttering in your game. Make sure that motion blur is disabled in the video setting. So just noticing there then in TC1, and you can already see I've lost nearly half a second through that one little error, and I was so close to Yorkshire as well. I'd probably be very close to him now. So if you do switch between TC1 and TC5, do bear in mind these little mistakes you can make. You're so focused on racing, generally it does become muscle memory going between the two at certain points in the circuit. And just clipping that inside curve there as well. You see GD Partick is actually parked on the side of the road there. So I'm not sure how long he's been parked there. Yeah, definitely looking forward to the start of the Formula 1 season in just a couple of weeks' time. Another car spinning out there, just on the exit to Ascari. Number 91 car, I'm not sure who that is. So getting very close to Yorkshire, got to be on in this lap. Yeah, I was running engine map 8 the other day and setting a very similar lap times. It's just on the long straights, just eked out in engine map 1. Not quite sure what engine map 8 is. So very close to the back end of Yorkshire through the first chicane. Not quite sure where I get past him actually. A very well known and respected driver in the community on Xbox. Putting the BMW through its paces. I definitely think about trying the BMW if the Mercedes or McLaren's going to be penalised so much in future races. Obviously it does run really well here, but the BMW did definitely in the past run really well here. I know myself and Partick had a number of battles in the BMW. A pity we didn't get to go toe to toe here today. So just getting a little bit out of shape, Yorkshire on the exit there. Not my best run out of there either, but he just taps the brake pedal, thank you very much. Obviously not wanting to put up a battle, and thank you very much man. I'm sure he's probably been looking at those lap times as well, slowly gaining on him, and not wanting to get in the way. So just adjusting the brake balance there, bringing the brake balance a little bit further forward, just noticing the rear of the car, stepping out a little bit under braking. A constantly evolving machine when the tyres start to degrade, and definitely worth adjusting elements of the setup that you can adjust on the fly just to change the characteristics of the car. So Melmsey just up ahead, and we've got JDM as well that's still yet to do a stop, so anyone that's still yet to do a stop just up ahead, really nothing to worry about. So just starting to be a little bit ginger as well through some of these corners. Just not sure how much rear grip I've got, having felt that slide through Parabolica on the previous lap. I think Melms is probably feeling it as well, to be honest. It was very sudden at just after 10 minutes into the race. Might even be worth in future looking at adding a little bit more grip to the rear of the car, just for this degradation that seems to happen 10 laps to go. So coming up the inside then, trying to give Melmsy as much room as I can. I think we did discuss this in the Discord just after, how much of a battle he put up to resist my overtake, and I think, as he mentioned, it was very much non-existent. Yeah, there are some effects on the downforce, I think. Especially when you're following a car so closely through corners, you do tend to feel a lot more understeer. I think the braking performance from the car behind is lessened. As you see me there, just going a little bit deep into the corner. Again, you can see it on the Delta as well. A good half a second lost going too deep into the corner. Again, just tapping that inside curb with the front right tyre. And already 7 tenths down nearly on the lap. But yeah, just wondering where to get past Schmidt. Wondering whether he's got a good exit to Ascari. Not the best for me either. Another couple of tenths down, nearly a second down. Just trying to get that toe, trying to tuck under his wing. Not sure where he's going to brake, so not wanting to get too much under his rear wing. Trying to get a better exit. Have we got a better exit? I think we're definitely going to go for this down into turn 1. If we can get tucked up, yeah, definitely. Just a bit of, yeah, there we go. Always cautious on the turning there as to whether we're going to both brake for the corner or whether he was going to come sailing up the inside there. But yeah, nice clean pass. And, good driving, Schmidt. So driver 206 then. I'm not sure if that's a driver 51 kind of tip of the cap. So 6 minutes left to go in P10. We can already see we've got another driver up ahead, so it's going to be P9 if we manage to finish. And a whole row of McLarens. Yeah, I guess for now it is such a dominant car here at Monza. Maybe the 40 kilograms isn't too much of a sacrifice. It still handles the curbs so much better than some other cars, especially for Ascari. You can be so aggressive with the curbs. So see how it feels through Parabolica once again. Very ginger, you can see the rear end just wanting to step away. So still into the 148s. Just generally looking at other cars around. A lot of rotation again on corner entry. always trying to aim once I've set that 147. That really is the benchmark I'm trying to hit every lap, really. I'm sure in the online lobbies when we're running maybe 20-minute sessions, you can still be hitting 146s on the very final lap. So I was always really confident to run at least 20 minutes flat out. And then as soon as that last 10 minutes come along, the tyres really do feel very different. I guess it is something as a driver, these are the skills that you need to sort of hone, is the ever-changing balance of the car. So you can see just coming out of Parabolica then, not looking to change down to TC1. Obviously I'm thinking that's taking too much out of the life of the tyre, being so aggressive on the exit. Still running 49.4 on the brake balance. The rear of the car just sliding away. So 2 seconds up ahead. Quark Daddy. Another BMW driver. Running a lap down, I guess. Let's see how he handles the blue flags. But tyre pressure's not looking too bad, especially the lower track temperatures here at Monza. The tyres really do struggle, especially the front right tyre, trying to keep it in a good temperature window. Very wary of the rear of the car coming through there as the grip starts to drop away. So just see as we cross the line, driver 206 doing a 149, a 150 for Quark. Another car coming out of the pits. Who's this? Zidane coming out of the pits. Another good driver. I remember Zidane right from the very first race. The very first race at Donington Park with the XCL Servers. His name is definitely stuck in my head. I'm sure he beat me on the first race as well. Partick was running the Ferrari, just in a little test session prior to the lobby opening, and we were discussing actually running the McLaren, and I was intrigued to see what sort of lap time he was setting in the Ferrari, but it wasn't actually as quick as the McLaren, so I wasn't too worried seeing Zidane come out the pits. I know he wasn't going to have a new set of tyres. No one's going to do a 30-second pit stop, and it should just be 1 second really. So a little disappointed with Quark Daddy there, having to push me so hard to get past, especially making me run kind of on the dirty line on the approach to Ascari. I thought he might have just tapped his brake pedal a little bit earlier than that. So last lap of the race then. It felt like a very long race as well. just looking ahead then, can we get past driver 206? And at this stage I really can't remember what happens where you can see a lot of cars up ahead. Still obviously not changing down to TC1. 3 seconds up ahead. I'm definitely not lapping 3 seconds faster than driver 206, that's for sure. Not at this stage in the race. No, just looking in my rearview mirror at Zidane, just seeing if he's having similar problems. Just not wanting to bin it through any of these corners really. So close to the end of the race, and I think Zidane's really is pushing. Rear of the car's sliding away, might as well just drop TC1. Get the acceleration off the corner, nothing left of the tyres. Across the line. Still in the 148s. Zidane obviously pushing on that last lap to get into a 148.4. And well done everyone. The obligatory light flash. Bounty there. So I guess let's just have a little look over what happened at the end of the race. See if we can see a few things. Looking in the fastest lap then. 6 Scarab setting a 147.865. 147.865. So just a few tenths, just a 1,000th of a second faster. And some very consistent 148s from myself. See who else? Jake in plan, another good driver into the 148s fairly consistently in the Porsche. Zidane in the Ferrari, a number of 48s there. And just looking at the on the end there, the minus 40. So minus 40 in the Bentley. Is that minus 40 in the Bentley? Minus 4. So it really has brought the Bentley into contention in these lobbies. Minus 40 in the Bentley. Plus 40 in the Mercedes, McLaren. Minus 6 in the Porsche. Plus 13 in the Lamborghini. What else have we got there? I think it was a minus 4 on the BMW. Interesting to see really. So looking at the start of the race then, just a little bit from the replay down into turn 1. You can see the other cars around just getting a really good launch off the line, or whether it's that 40 kilograms just holding back the two McLarens at the start of the race, and then you've got the BMW, the Bentley and the Porsche just really just pulling ahead on the acceleration phase of the car. Obviously the Bentley there running a little bit wide, at least he didn't smash through all the barriers. You've got a Lamborghini well out of shape coming through, I forget the name of the first corner, and then that little tap from the rear from the Porsche really did ruin the race for me altogether. Such a tiny tap as well. And just in the background there, this is what happened to GD Partick. Just taking a big spin through there, coming over the curbs, and just really unable to join safely. And I guess hats off to him for letting every other driver come past before rejoining the circuit safely. Something a lot of drivers just don't do. So on board with the Porsche driver then coming into this turn, just a tiny tap that really did cost me the race coming into the pits. Everyone else coming into the pits as well. And yeah, 16-second stop just really did ruin the race for me. I think when I was looking at the lap times at the very end there, I was actually 14 seconds behind the guy in first place. So if I think about it logically, with a 16-second stop, I should have been 2 seconds ahead of him at the end of the race. But we live and learn, we live and learn. It's just, I guess when you spend so long trying to get the car set up, it was a very disappointing race to finish. But thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and yeah, share the video. Until next time, ciao for now.